Yo, how are we, GameLeapers? Coach Eag's back again, just like that Pro Guides ad you just watched, and we have to talk about the best late game champions in the game right now. Now, some of us don't like playing an early game champion on a timer. You know, if you're not 10-0 at 10 minutes, you just auto-lose. Some of us actually enjoy scaling and becoming the ultimate late game carry. Yes, you sacrifice a bit of early game power, but it's fully worth it for the beast you become post 20 minutes. Now, some of you have been saying in the recent videos that my voice is amazing, and yeah, I know. But you know what else is just as red hot? The memberships at our website GameLeap.com. In fact, Alagon TV got it spot on. Listen to this, guys. Every rank 1 player in the history of league signed up to GameLeap. If you are ever going to get there, you cannot do it without our Challenger courses, guides, videos, and let's be honest, why wouldn't you sign up for the daily Coach Cheese content on there too? Get around it, links as always in the description and comments section. Alright, let's get into it, and the first champion we have to talk about is Ezreal. And though Ez has been having a hard time with all the mirror mana changes, it's finally back to normal, and there is one build you have got to try out, and this makes you one of the top late game AD carries. So you have your mirror mana, of course, and then you want to buy Lucidity Boots, Divine Sundera, and Ravenous Hydra. Now if you are still building Trinity Force on Ezreal, please stop. Now the reason Sundera is the go-to mythic is because the sustain and percent health damage is OP, and the armor penetration passive is always more useful than attack speed, which is what Triforce gives you. Now when I said Ravenous Hydra, some of you may have spam pinged me, but here's the thing, guys. The cleave passive procs on your Q, E, and ultimate. On top of that, the ability haste is unreal, and with these 4 items you have 70 in total. This is the same as 41% cooldown reduction. Now the longer the game goes, guys, and the more haste and armor pen you have, you will be half helping champions with your Q alone, trust me. Now coming in at number 14 on our countdown, guys, we have Anivia, and I'm sure you've all seen more of her this preseason than in the last 10 years of League combined. The reason for that is that she is one of the premier late game carries at the moment, and that's all because of the 10.25 patch that changed almost everything about her. Now the biggest change that will make you a late game monster is the lower cooldown in your ultimate Glacial Storm. Imagine this, guys. Let's say you have 50 ability haste and you're level 16. Your ultimate with 3 points in it is on a 0.6 second cooldown. How busted. Now this means that you can have your storm up almost permanently, and you can completely destroy teams later in a game. It's also the best wave clearing ability on the Rift, so there's that too. If you need a hard carry late game mid laner, guys, Anivia is that pick. Now coming in next we have Kai'Sa, one of the most popular champions right now, and that's because she deals a heap of damage, hella scales, and plays like an assassin. Now guys, your core 4 items are as follows, so listen up. Kraken Slayer as your mythic, Runaan's Hurricane, Infinity Edge, and for your boots, Berserker's Greaves. It's expensive, no doubt about it, but your DPS is unrivaled. Once you get Kraken Slayer, which is only 1 item in, you start to shred your opponent's health bars, and this keeps going up and up and up as the game progresses. Now what's also great is that Runaan's is getting changed next patch and will only cost 2,500 gold, so that means you will hit your late game spike earlier. With this build in high elo, guys, Kai'Sa has close to a 70% win rate, so if you're an ADC main looking for a champion to win almost every game that lasts longer than 20 minutes, pick Kai'Sa. Now we haven't talked about this next champion for a while, and that's because he got nerfed and then Riot reverted 2 of these nerfs, typical Rito, and yes, number 12 is KAYN. Now if a game on the Rift goes past 20 minutes, Shadow Assassin KAYN is decent for sure, his blue form, but Rast is where it's really at in the late game. The sustain and haste you have is out of this world, and this is what you have to build, guys. A Gore Drinker and a Black Cleaver. Now these 2 items you can make the case of the deadliest duo across the board, and that's because you become straight up unkillable. I think we've all experienced it by now as well. You know, Red KAYN 1v9ing an entire team, and the only way you kill him is by igniting him 5 times. Pick KAYN and play around those cooldowns in the late game, guys, you will get that many Ws. Now one of the half brothers has always featured on these countdowns we've done, I swear. Unfortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, our next pick is YONE. Now Yasuo may be the stronger of the 2 early on, but let me tell you, at 3 items, even at 2 items, YONE is nuts. Now we just talked about how sustain made KAYN broken. Well, it makes YONE even more badass, and you deal more damage as well. So this is the secret recipe. Immortal Shield Bow, Infinity Edge, and then Bloodthirster. The damage you do, guys, and I'm going to say it again because it's that broken, is unreal. You'll notice as well that there isn't much attack speed in this build, just a little from Shield Bow and your Berserker's Greaves. That's because Riot buffs your attack speed growth by a whole %. And no, I'm not memeing the 1% increase, it's actually massive. Shoutouts to PG. So the later you get in a game, the more attack speed you have. So you can spend your gold on straight up damage and sustain instead. Now I love this champion, guys, so naturally I'm going to tell you to play him, rain, hail, or shine, but he's legit good right now, so pick him up. Here we go, guys. We're now into the top 10, and kicking it off, we have CAMILLE, who is an insane late game top laner, and there's one build that you have to try. Like, I'm serious. If you don't build these items, you are trolling. Let me throw this stat at you real quick. Now, out of almost 700 games in Master and above recently, this build wins 85% of them. That is unheard of. So Trinity Force is your first item, then follow that up with a Ravenous Hydra, and finish it off with a Sterix Gauge. The passives, the on-hit, the sustain, the health, you become one of the ultimate late game duelers in the game. So build these items in your games, guys, and if the game lasts longer than 20 minutes, which they tend to do in lower elos, you will win each and every one of them. Oh, and we have an even better top laner coming up soon, so make sure you keep watching so you don't miss out on who it is. So at number 9, we have KATARINA, and the great thing about late game Kat is that you have two builds that work, AD and AP. So depending on what your particular game needs the most, pick either or. Now I'm going to focus on the AD build, and the reason is this, and another little stat for you. This has almost an 80% win rate in high elo, so here it is. Blade of the Ruined King, Kraken Slayer, then Ravenous Hydra. Now the Brainiacs on Riot's balance team thought it would be a good idea to give Kat some on-hit and AD. I mean, if you're a Kat main, you're cheering about this, of course. So what this means is that you can start building items that offer both, and that's why Boar, Kraken, and Hydra are amazing. Try this out in your games, guys. If you can get to this point, you are going to win and have a ton of fun at the same time. Next up, we have another mid laner and one of the best late game assassins going around, that's Zed. Now there are a couple of reasons why Zed is near the top of the pile, and one of them is your ultimate. Alright, so with 1 point in it at level 6, it's on a 2-minute cooldown, which is pretty high. With 2 points in it, it's on a 90-second cooldown, a little better, and with 3 points in it at level 16, it's on a 60-second cooldown. Now at this point in the game as well, you'd have an insane amount of damage, so even just ulting and auto-attacking your squishy is sometimes enough to make them pop. Now to make this happen, build these items, guys. Dustblade, Ghostblade, and Edge of Night. The lethality destroys anyone who doesn't build armor, which is most players at the moment, let's be honest, and the haste from Dustblade and cooldown boots if you're a real alpha means that your ult cooldown at later ranks is super low. Pick the Shadow Assassin, guys, and terrorize your elo with this setup. Alright, moving on to number 7, and this dude, or boy I should say, has been broken for as long as I can remember, I swear, and that's Echo. Now it takes a little while for you to come online, which is standard for most champions in this countdown, but when you do, boy oh boy. You see what I did there as well, because Echo's a boy? Yeah, right. You become not only a late game hyper carry, but a real pain in the butt to play against. You are impossible to lock down. Your ultimate means you can charge in, all guns blazing, and just tap R when you get in trouble, and you can one-shot pretty much everyone. Make sure you build this. Hextech Rocket Belt, Lichbane, and Zhonya's Hourglass every game. The AP, the haste, the magic pen, the on-hit, the survivability, how good is all that? It's perfect for Echo, guys, and you will win that many late games because you are right up there with the best of them. Now this next champion is one I know frustrates anyone who has to play against him, and that's Master Yi. Aside from that though, guys, we can't run away from a truth, or Yi for that matter, and that is the Wuju Bladesman is a ridiculous late game hyper carry, and there's a reason he has the most pentakills every season. Now I'm going to give you the best late game build here, and that's this. Kraken Slayer, Ginsu's, and then Bork. You can substitute Bork out for a Wit's End if you need to, but the point here is that your attack speed and on-hit is unmatched, like you're insane. Match this up with your Double Strike, which is your passive, and you slice through anyone that gets in your way. If he's left open in your champ select, guys, pick him and build this. You'll see that victory message real soon. Okay, we're into the top 5, and guys, before we get into these weapons, head on over to our sick website at the end of this video, GameLeap.com. It's got everything you will ever need to climb out of elo hell and become a top tier player. In fact, those top tier players you watch and know about have made courses, guides, and videos on our site so you can get the best learning experience. Join thousands of others and get signed up, links down below. Alright, at number 5 we have Jax, and guys, we all know why Jax is a beast late game. Low cooldowns, some of the best DPS in the game, attack speed, on hit, it's all there. And here's the build that will help you get there and stomp. So build a Bork first, very important, then Trinity Force, then Sterix Gauge. Now this Triforce and Sterix Gauge combo we saw in CAMILLE earlier, but Bork is what separates you from every other top laner. You spike that hard because of the attack speed and lifesteal, not to mention the 2 passives, and you cannot be stopped. Even if you're 0-5 at 10 minutes, Bork allows you to CS easily and still trade with your opponent. Get another item or 2, GG. Moving on to number 4, we have VAYNE, the second highest ADC on our list, and oh my god, who could be the best late game ADC? You'll find out soon, don't worry. Now VAYNE is known for being one of the superior hyper carries in League, and in this meta she's actually good too, which is a major positive. Now here's what you're going to build. Kraken Slayer, Ginsu's Rageblade, and then either Phantom Dancer or Blade of the Ruined King. If you just want more damage and movement speed, then go PD. If you need lifesteal, then go Bork. Either way, this setup is bonkers. Kraken's true damage with your Silver Bolts is a match made in heaven, and Ginsu's is also great because of its on hit. Just remember to not headbutt the enemy team, guys, and you will pop off. Now the ADC that outclasses VAYNE in the late game at the moment is TRISTANA. I'm going to prove this to you by hitting you with another stat. So if you build Kraken Sire, Storm Razor, and Infinity Edge, you win 80% of games. Yeah, 80% on a marksman in 2021. It's real. Now the IE spike on Triss is a lot spikier than on other champions, and that's because at this point in the game you will be close to level 18, meaning your basic attack range has gone through the roof. So it's easier for you to order your opponents and apply this damage. Now the slow from Storm Razor comes in super clutch as well, because it almost guarantees your jump to land on the enemy's head, and they go boom. Same idea with VAYNE, guys. Stay at ranger first, and when the enemy team is running away because you're that much of a late game beast, W after them. Rightio, the runner-up, guys, to the best late-game champ on the Rift is ORNN. Now, ORNN has always been a late-game beast. You have great utility because of your ultimate and crowd control, but what makes you even deadlier is your master craftsman, especially in this day and age because some of the mythics become that busted with your help. Whether it's Dustblade, Triforce, Gauldrinker, Luden's Tempest, everyone on your team becomes a late-game beast as well as you, so that's why ORNN is at number 2. Alright, here we go, GameLeap, the number 1, the best late-game carry. Now, let's play a bit of Who Am I to see if you can guess who it is. Now, when people think of me in level 16, they think it's GG. I'm always ghosted and a huge threat to mages in particular. And the last one, my ultimate allows me to blink on repeat. Now I think most of you would have got it from the first clue alone, and congrats if you got it. Our number 1, guys, is Kassadin. The endless rift walking and the absurd AP scaling in your abilities is what makes Kassadin the best. In terms of your build, you can go Ludens or Liandry's, then Seraph, Zhonya's, Lichbane, and nothing will stop you. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Please like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe and turn on all notifications to not miss any of our daily uploads. This has been Coach Ease. Until tomorrow's video, peace.